Will AI remove your job? The answer is probably not. Will it reduce your job by 25-30%? Yes, and that's already happened. How do you ride the chaotic wave, almost like a tsunami that AI is, in terms of doing that? Number one, you have to learn how to use AI as a profession. Our expectation as an employer is that you can professionally utilize artificial intelligence, AI, to improve your productivity. And this is like 180 degrees different to what you're asked to at university. At university, you said, don't touch AI, show us your original thoughts. The moment literally you walk into a work environment, we are asking you, how can you use AI or how can we help you use AI to improve your productivity? And this is truly, truly important. And this is very, very different to where it was literally 2 years ago.
Hi, let's welcome Simon Baig, Vice President of Change Management at Barclays Bank. Second time on the show. Welcome, sir, and good to see you.
Danny, thank you again for inviting me back. It's an absolute pleasure. I would like to say I'm speaking in my own personal capacity as as an experienced person who spent 30 years in this environment. I spoke at my second daughter's Black History Month, again to say, how do young graduates get into financial services, corporate investment banking, about 2 weeks ago. And it's a huge pleasure and privilege to speak to young people and help them advise on the way they're going forward. Now, I know we've discussed this already before, and in terms of what is it like for a young person to break into the industry. And I think I'd like to break it down into parts of pre-COVID, post-COVID. So pre-COVID, we were taking 6% of applicants. Basically, a small amount of people made it into my organization or organizations like mine. Post-COVID, I would suggest that's dropped to 2 or 3%, because it's significantly harder. There are less jobs. There's less work to go around. We're seeing it already with EY and PwC. In some areas, they paused their graduate recruitment because there's simply not enough jobs to go around. So, against a backdrop of very, very difficult employment circumstances, which are cyclical, what else is there? What else as a young person can you do to get into a really good job? And the answer is very, very, our expectation as an employer is that you can professionally utilize artificial intelligence, AI, to improve your productivity. And this is like 180 degrees different to what you're asked to at university. At university, you said, don't touch AI, show us your original thoughts. The moment literally you walk into a work environment, we are asking you, how can you use AI or how can we help you use AI to improve your productivity? And this is truly, truly important. And this is very, very different to where it was literally 2 years ago, is that you are now under an expectation to A, have a great degree from a very good university, B, use AI prompting, and 3, be the best in your class, not just in your country, but against 10, 12, 15 different nations to say, I can add value to you. And I think since the last time we spoke, the difference and the difficulty into entering a top tier firm has increased substantially for graduates.
Yeah, it's great insight. And I think one big concern or uncertainty that many young people in college or maybe even in high school have in mind is, will AI take these jobs away, and whether it even makes sense to go to college to study just to see their potential job to be taken away by AI. How do you see this happening or not happening today, or maybe it will happen in the future?
Okay, there are two very good points within the question you asked me. Number one, will AI remove your job? The answer is probably not. Will it reduce your job by 25-30%? Yes, and that's already happened. How do you ride the chaotic wave, almost like a tsunami that AI is in terms of doing that. Number one, you have to learn how to use AI as a professional. So there are certifications out there, there are courses out there to say, and it is almost the strangest thing because when I joined the workforce, it was like, can you use Excel? Is it in your contract? You can write Word. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then it became, can you write an if statement in Excel? Yeah, I can do that. And then it became, can you write a macro code in Excel? I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And then you saw the career paths differing at that point between those who could and those who couldn't. So with AI, it's not that you will lose your job, but you will lose your ability to apply for a job unless you can demonstrate you can use AI in a professional manner. To do that, you will need to do one of two things. Number one, you'll be able to show in a project that you have done, you've used AI to say, I've started here, I've ended up here, and it's provided me 50, 60%, and I've done the rest. Or you will get a recognized certificate. And I know the Dubai government in the UAE says they provide a 1 million prompt certificate, 4 courses, 5 minutes each, and you can tell me and say, I can do this. So an answer to your question is yes, AI does reduce the opportunities available. But for those of you who are able to master the new tool, it then says you're in contention for getting a job. And that's the important point, is not to give up, it's to adopt and embrace the new tool which is available.
So even if a person, say in college, they are in their first year freshman, is it reasonable to expect that by their last year in college, by the time they graduate, the position or the career that they expected may drastically change? And the only way to still be competitive in that job market is to adapt, learn new things, try new things, because now it's AI. Maybe tomorrow there's going to be another technology that is even smarter than AI or change more things. So, would you say that adaptability and learning new things is kind of the main focus that students have today?
Yes, I would agree with that. And if I look at my own personal um, experience, when I arrived at university when I arrived at university in 1991, probably before many of your followers are born, in that first year, 1991, 1992, we hand wrote all of our essays. In 1992, I started typing my essays, and people looked like me. I was mad. It's like, why are you typing your essay? Why are you going on, Lotus Notes and the rest of it? I said, it's easier. If I make a mistake, I can delete, go back, backspace, whatever it is, and do it again. It looks neater because it doesn't show that I'm tired at midnight or the rest of it. So within human history, there's always been that part where you transition from what was the accepted way of doing things to what is a new way of doing things? What is a sharper tool for doing it? And so for freshers to turn around and say, what do we need to do to be able to ensure in 3 or 4 years' time we are capable of doing that? You have to follow what is the trend right now. Follow the news, follow Business Insider, follow Bloomberg News, and say, and these articles are very clear. They're very clear in saying, as an employer, when employers come out, they say, we want people who have XYZ skills. And you say, all right, fine. I will get XYZ skills to ensure when I go in my autumn, the first semester of my final year, and I'm applying for a job, and they say, what could you do? And we'll say, I can do A, B, and C. And they say, oh, that's brilliant. How do you learn that? And I said, because you said 2 years ago on your blogs, we are looking for graduates who can do A, B, and C. And I said, so I've done it. I've done it. I've aligned myself to your values. I've aligned myself to the needs that you have clearly expressed in the public domain. I'm ready for you. And that as an undergraduate student, that's all you can do. You can only follow what it is the company you wish to be employed for has publicly said they are looking for.
Yeah, this is great advice. And I don't think many people really say that. Go read those blogs, read what these companies have to say, And then you definitely have a better chance to maybe to even impress your recruiter or person who's hiring you that you've done your job and you've actually learned all of the things that they want you to know. What do you think will happen to these jobs as AI progresses? As you said that it's going to reduce these jobs. Does it mean that there will be new positions created? Or do you think if AI kind of takes those roles, at least to some capacity, there will be no need to hire humans at all? So where
Okay.
do you think this is going?
So that is an interesting question. And I have three children. They are 22, 20, and 17 years old. So these are not abstract questions for me. These are existential questions for my family. And my answer to all of my children is, if you cannot get the job which you thought you would get 5 years ago because AI has taken it, then you are at the point of who watches the watchers. You are at the point of saying you an AI governance analyst. And I use AI sensibly. And there are times when I get gobbledygook hallucination back and I go, that's rubbish. But I go, okay, right, fine. That's a limitation of my tool. At that point, I now need to engage the Mark 1 human brain, the Mark 1 human eyeball. And you say, okay, I've got a great tool here. It's taken me from A to B, and I now need to go from B to C. That's the part where the 6% shrinks to the 2%. We hire less people to do that. The part where you say, I'm not on that 2%, but I need to do something else. That's the part where you say, I will look at the AI model, review how it's structured, view what its parameters and boundaries are to give the answer to the person that's doing the job. And that's why I see more, in effect, engineers coming in. And somebody turns around and say, AI is a box. It's a very powerful box. When it malfunctions, who is the person there that goes in and fixes it? And so if you turn around to people and say, okay, you're not going to get a job perhaps in the industry you want, but you can get a job in making sure the box works the way it should do, then that's the new career path. And that's a career path. When I rocked out of university, when I finished my master's degree in 1996, nobody was going to hire somebody who says, I can make your AI box work better, apart from university. Yeah, nobody's going to do it. But now, if you want to walk into a company and a company says, excuse me, I'm trying to make AI work, but we can't. And somebody else says, don't worry, I know nothing about your business. You tell me what you want it to do, and I will make this AI box work for you. Then the future. That's the future career path. Making the tool work better. You then become an engineer.
Yes, but even though there is this new opportunity that comes with AI, it still seems like, or at least my feeling is that the number of people required for that is going to be much smaller than the number of people that AI replaced or the number of jobs that the AI replaced. So what do you think will happen on the global level with all of these people who aren't needed as much in companies if AI can do most of the job? Yes, some human intervention is still required, but what all of those people will do once AI is on the level where like 80 to 90% of the jobs is under its control.
Right. This is, and I hear the question you're asking here. So I'm part of Generation X. I was born in 1972, where, my parents are silent generation, born 1930s, late 30s, early 40s. We missed out the baby boomers when recovering from the post Second World War. Generation Z, who are my children, this is the most populous generation that's ever been born on planet Earth. 2 billion people born. Generation Alpha will have even more. So the question is now you're asking is saying, it's what literally is what we call the jaws. The jaws is something's increasing, something's decreasing, and like, hang on a second, something's going to snap right here and now. So the question you're asking is, if you are facing an increasing global population and there's less high quality jobs available for them, what do they then do? And we're already seeing it now where the younger generation are saying, I want to work for myself. I want to generate my own business. I want to do this. I want to be working, as yourself, you're fully aware. So I want to carve out my own piece of income. So then you've then got a situation where you've got millions and millions and millions of people trying to say, I want to carve out my own business. Some will work, some will fail. And I think, as you know, in the majority of business, very few will succeed, the majority will fail. And then this majority that fails will then say, what do I do? And then you're face working saying, well, either I'm going to do a 10-hour shift at 7-Eleven or in McDonald's or in Costa or wherever it's Starbucks you're going to do to make a basic living, because there's simply not enough clients going around to support millions of small businesses. So if I'm looking through it from a perspective of a North American / Western European perspective, initially there'll be a lot of very disappointed young people because they will neither get a job which they earn, nor will they start a business which they can prosper. Does that mean revolution? I don't know. But what it does mean is that at that point, parents and grandparents will normally step up to do some sort of intergenerational transfer of wealth to postpone the problem for yet another generation. And by that point, I don't know. I can look at my children, I can potentially look at my grandchildren, but the point is that the problem of Generation Z, potentially Generation Alpha, getting a decent job will be postponed by about 50 years because money will be transferred, normally by the property sector, via the stock market, to say, hold on a second, we can buy you a flat, we can give you a little bit of comfort, and then, and I hate to say this, we hope you marry well. And it's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, well, it's clear that there are a lot of unanswered questions for the future when it comes to AI and jobs and the economy. But do you think there is a chance that AI will hit a plateau, or maybe it's even a bubble where it goes down? Because now we see all of these investments in AI and infrastructure and data centers everywhere. And, companies like OpenAI are still not profitable, and it's not clear whether they will be. So there is a huge amount of money being poured in from private investors, even the governments. And
Yeah.
then if AI stops at this level and doesn't actually generate that value that people expect from it, then, it's going to change everything. So what do you think about this?
My opinion is you have to look at the point of level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 1, basic. You do a Google query. Level 2, you ask a question which involves a little bit of research. Level 3, you hit the level of something like Perplexity or Anthropomorphic's Claude 4.5 or Gemini 2.5 Pro. Level 3. This is widely available to millions of people also. So you need a certain amount of compute power. You hit level 4, which is probably restricted to the CXO offices, the federal government, where you've got real, genuine, I don't need to talk to a human. I've got this. So in answer to your question is, in terms of what is widely available to businesses and the general population, I think we hit our plateau about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I don't think we'll go any further than this. And I use AI professionally and personally. I see iterative changes in how good it is. Do I see it actually genuinely replacing a well-skilled, good, intelligent, well-educated professional right here, right now? No. Do I see it? So what do I see it doing? So what I see it doing is I sit there at my desk and I go, that conversation I had with X, Y, and A, B, and C person 12 months ago, where's that email? Where's that email? And I start sending my emails. And now I don't. If I can't remember in the 5 seconds, I go, AI, where is that email I spoke to yada yada person about blah 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 blah, and it comes back and goes, yeah, here's the email, here's the PowerPoint deck you created for us. Thank you very much. You are the most super powerful PA I've ever met in my life, and that's what's available to most of us in the general workforce. The part when I say create a deck, yeah, it's 30% of what I would do, 30%, no more than that. So the replacement value, what you're talking about, is at the base end of the activities. And that's where 35% of the graduates come in. and they say, make me a deck on this, find me that. Yeah, AI replaces that. 35%, it's gone. The part when they say, having found this, make me a cogent cognitive argument to argue one way or the other, that is not available to the vast majority of people using AI. And that's why I say a shaving of jobs going, but not a complete elimination of jobs.
Yeah, that's a very great detail that you shared, and thank you for speaking to this change that you see and this plateau. And as we wrapping up this episode, based on everything we discussed, and this starts to sound like a ChatGPT query, if you could give some advice for students, maybe people who are graduating, like say next summer, next year, or maybe people who are just starting the college in that age group, what would you say them and what advice you want to give to them?
Okay. Oddly enough, the advice I give to them now is similar to the advice I give to them pre-COVID, which is find a project which is similar, either a society university or a project which you do. I mean, for me, I don't want to say investment management. Pick 3, 5 stocks that you'd follow, whatever it is. But find a project which shadows what you think your future career is going to be. And there's only someone said, what have you done about this? You go, well, actually, so the last 2 years, I've shadowed investment management, I've shadowed stocks and shares trading, and it's done this and this. And then you layer on top and said, and these are the AI prompts, which I have developed over time to be able to be my useful assistant to ensure my project, I've learned as much as my project is. So my advice is to anybody is learn to use AI as a tool to enhance what you do personally for potentially for your career. And I think if you do that and you arrive opposite me at a virtual interview, I will be, and a lot of my people who are my age in the mid-50s who are hiring people will be receptive to that. So don't be afraid of AI, harness it, use it as a tool to enhance your own personal offering to an employer.
Well, again, great advice. And thank you, Simon, for joining the show today and sharing all of this. As always, great to talk to you, and much appreciated all of these insights and stories that you shared. And yeah, thank you again for joining today.
Pleasure, Danny. Always a pleasure. And good luck to you, and good luck to you, the students that follow you. Always good to speak to you.
Thank you.